up, guys? Welcome to the BFF Report. I'm your host, Mike, aka Phony, and today we're going to be talking about not these. That's right. You probably already saw in the article title here that we're not going to be talking about gunners today. We're talking about a game called AirMech. I'm saving the gunners for next week because I wanted a good, solid few weeks in of using these because these particular ones are prescriptions. I want to make sure that they're good to go before I actually do a review on them, because that's kind of what you want, right? You kind of extensive use of a product before going out and, you know, saying they're good or bad or whatever. Anyways, today we're going to talk about a game called AirMech, and this game is particularly interesting because nobody knows about it. So you're probably asking yourself, what is AirMech? Well, it's a combination of several different gameplay styles that works beautifully together. You have the basic stuff, which is like the twin stick shooter interface, right? That stuff is, I love that. Those of you guys don't know, I play lots and lots of indie games, and one of the more popular styles outside of platformers and anything relating to zombies or boobs is the twin stick shooter style game. So if you're familiar with that, you're gonna fit right in here, and that's the absolute basics. Now, your mech itself has a couple different things it could do. It can fly around and shoot things from the air, right? It can also drop down to the ground, turn into a mech, like an actual walking mech, and you could do damage that way. Of course, each individual mech has its own special abilities and whatnot. Some of them have melee abilities, some of them are just ranged. There's all kinds of things you can unlock in the various mechs. We'll get to all that stuff in a second. Then you have the ability, once you're in the air, to pick up and move units. You could tell them to move if you want, like tell them patrol here to here, or just go and attack, just like you would like in StarCraft 2, but you can also pick them up and physically move them. There's so many different elements all in one that it's insane that nobody's actually heard of this game. But I think I know why. Because at this point in the BFF report, right now, if I were to stop right here, I have now given you more information about the game than their own freaking website. Wondering why there's not a ton of people playing your game? Mystery solved. Now, it's worth noting that the game is free to play if you get it from their website. It costs $19.99 if you get it from Steam. The reason why is because you're buying into one of the bundles that unlocks tons of stuff you could use in the game itself. But besides being free to play, the really cool thing is that you can choose if you want to download an executable file and launch it from your desktop like a regular game, or you can actually install it into Chrome. So outside of launching it from Steam, you can launch it from your desktop, you can launch it from Chrome. There's so many different ways you can actually go and play this game. It's a very, very lightweight client. The game itself is also very lightweight. It'll run on probably just about any machine. If you can run League of Legends, you can run this game with no problem whatsoever. Now, the first thing we need to get familiar with really quick is, of course, the interface. This is the launcher. The launcher and the game are one solid unit. You don't have to worry about launching the launcher itself and then having it launch another element in the background. This is very handy for those of you guys who like to stream. I know that's kind of a pain in the ass with other games. Now, you see they have the news page, whatever. Tell them buy stuff, buy stuff. First thing, we open up our name here. We see quests. So we have quests that we complete as you play the game. These are things like, as you can see, they're almost like achievements. Kill 1,000 tanks, kill 250 tanks. AirMech, phalanx, all this stuff, but you see that your reward is, in most cases, kudos, or in some, diamonds. Those are your cash up currencies, which we'll talk about more in a second because it gets a little bit complicated. But first, we want to focus on just getting to know your interface. You have stats, you have referrals, and you see that I have lots of referrals out, 164. I have 52 that reach level 5. That's the only time I actually get any kind of support from it. You see player referral reaches level 5, redeem. I have 5 to collect. I get 400 currency, kudos currency for each one. It does take you a little bit of time to get level 10. Level 5 is cake. So that's why I have tons of these level 5s and no level 10s. So if you get level 5, you like the game, to keep playing, and make sure that down here in the, the store codes, that right here, you don't put Devil Lord, don't put that, no. Put AKA Mike B, and then Mike B will get credit for it. If you like Devil Lord, I suppose you could put him in there too. I'm okay with supporting my competition. Hopefully he is too. All you have to do is type in the name of the person that referred you right down here and click submit. Now, it doesn't seem like there is a friends list system that's been activated yet or implemented yet, but I'm sure we'll see that soon. Now, you have the option to join a game, or you can just create your own. Creating a game is quite simple, and you have a billion different options. This is nuts, right? Challenge. Challenge mode is very simple. You have a couple of players that are on a very, very tight map. And when I say players, I don't mean an actual live player. I mean, you're playing against the AI. The only thing you do in this map, unfortunately, is just playing versus the AI. I think this would be a great map to have 2 actual players sitting there duking it out. But unfortunately, right now, it's only single player. And then all you have to do is just work on preventing the other player from taking your node. And one of these, Capture B, which is what you're looking at right now, Capture B is, they're right next door to each other, and the creeps continue to spawn and they come right through their base and into yours. And if they capture your base by having 4 of them light up all 4 of the nodes, right? You see the little red and blue lights at the top there, then that means they will take your base, in which case the map will be over. That's the end of this match. That's challenge. Then we have survival. This is probably the next best thing to learning how to use your mech, how to take advantage of building towers, and this is also the more tower defense oriented style gameplay map. Last night I was on with a whole bunch of people from the stream, and we were able to do a 4-player co-op, and it just got extremely crazy hectic, and we got to just, I think like wave 17 or something, but they started sending like the really heavy guns, and then pretty much kicked our ass. Then, of course, you have PvP. This is the standard style map that you're used to where you're playing 3s, 2s, and 1s. 1s I wouldn't really recommend doing because, I mean, 1 player versus 1 player is kind of boring. And again, when you die, so much can happen during the time that you're waiting to res. Lots and lots of play style varieties here. Lots of single player stuff, so you go in there and play, and you still get credit. You get experience for playing the single player stuff, so you don't have to feel like, well, if I don't go online in PvP, then I'm not gonna really, do too well. Going over to the army page, this is very important because this determines how your player loadout is. You notice here I have PvP1, PvP2, and then PvE, PvP, blah, 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 all this stuff. So I would assume that the PvE builds it kind of makes sense because if you're not playing against another mech, then you want to build out accordingly. So for this, let's just say I have a surface-to-air missile style, where is that? Here it is, right here. The Seeker, right, which is a SAM site, mobile SAM site. I could take this and replace it with something else. Let's say if I want to replace it with a Boomer. And a Boomer is basically a sapper. It has a charge on him, he runs in, he does some damage, and then that's it. I have a soldier, basic unit. I just basically want to keep it to things that will only affect ground units. And of course, color, this is if you want to go and unlock these things. But again, we'll talk about these in just a minute. And then your pilot, this is where you go and change your pilot picture. I want to go ahead and take this. And I have this lovely young lady here. I have 8,565 kudos thanks to playing, and of course the people that have been going and leveling to level 5 using my name, aka Mike B, in the referral code section. I'm gonna go ahead and buy this, and you can see now my PvE pilot image is going to be this. Going to AirMechs, we have lots to choose from, lots of things here to choose from. But at first I was like, wow, there's tons of stuff, that's crazy. The way it's laid out is a bit awkward because you don't actually have this many completely different mechs, right? It's basically this first row here that I'm kind of hovering over, and then this row right here. Those are your mechs, okay? So I have this guy here, the bomber AirMech, right? This is basically a stealth bomber, and I can unlock that, and then I could go and unlock a skin for it. That's all it is a skin. Notice that I can unlock the mech with kudos, which is great because we don't want to see a mech that's money only, right? As in like cash money. It's nice you could do that, but the skins, of course, are gonna cost real money in some form or fashion. The selection is kind of thin. If you look at it, it's like, okay, we have 7 mechs. We have lots of empty slots, and nothing is saying that they can't go through and create more for us, which is great, because each one of these mechs has its own unique gameplay style, its own unique stats and all that stuff. You see across the top here, you have different stats available for each one. Right, it's kind of nice. Even this one here, the Osprey. The Osprey is a more of a support unit. So if you're playing with a team, you could be an actual support unit out there on the field. It does have some offensive abilities, but of course, being a medic, you're not going to be out there just like dunking all over people's faces. So that's how the loadout system works. Now at this point, you probably have a pretty fair idea how the game functions, but there's a couple of core things that I want to point out that make this game kind of unique. First off, like I said, you could choose how you want to play. You could run around and do the twin stick shooter style gameplay with a 360 controller if you haven't hooked up your PC, by the way, which is freaking awesome. You can also go and pick up units, tell them to patrol, tell them to attack, tell them to do all kinds of things. There's just so many different ways that you could play. But there's a couple of different key things that you want to keep in mind with the way the game functions, like for example the fact that every single structure will heal you. So if you have a unit that is being attacked and you're near a structure, pick up that unit, go to the structure, it will heal not only you but also the unit you're carrying. So go and put that back into play, and then you can continue fighting that way. If you're really good, you can actually defend a single node by yourself, which is extraordinarily... It's such a huge pain in the ass whenever you're trying to take over a node and then you have somebody sitting there who's really good at managing the units and he doesn't have to do anything. I was in a fight with one guy where it was just like he was guarding one single fortress by himself and we could not take him down because he was so good at running out and grabbing a unit, coming back, healing and putting it back down, and he was just basically able to hold the whole thing back by himself. But eventually you could build up some pretty good forces around the perimeter and send them in. So you see, you have lots of different ways that you can go about playing this game, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. Sure, there might be one way that's a little bit better than the other based off of like how your team plays, but if you use brute force tactics such as picking up tanks, running to behind the enemy base and just sitting there and just lighting it up with just your mechs and a couple tanks, then sure, you could do that. If you want to go ahead and build an army and then send that whole army in at once, you could do that too. And that's what makes this game kind of unique and fun, is the fact that you have all these different options of ways that you can play, and so you don't have to sit there and just pick one path. You can go and you can play the game how you want, and then right in the middle of the match, if you need to kind of flip things a little bit and maybe switch to, you know, building an army mode or something, or maybe building a Goliath tank, a massive tank to go and put behind enemy lines, there's a number of different things you could do. You could do brute force tactics by taking individual soldiers, picking them up, and then running them over to a base, dropping them right next to the front door so they can run in and capture that base before the enemy has an opportunity to be able to defend it. There's just so many different ways you can play the game, again, which is what makes this game so stupid amounts of fun. And of course, there's the fact that it's free, which makes it kind of another no-brainer. It takes you 2 seconds to go sign up for an account, then download the trial, put in aka Mike B under the referral code, and then go ahead and play it until level 5. It's just that easy. But we're not done yet. We still have to talk about the cash shop. We're gonna go over this very briefly because I didn't really see anything that kind of stood out as glaringly terrible, right? I mean, for the most part, they only offer the same things that everybody else is offering, right? There are a couple items in here that I initially was kind of like taken aback by. I was like, hold on a second. Really, there's a turret or something that is only purchasable using real money currency? That's kind of weird. Why would they put that in there? Then you read the fine print and it says that these items are not allowed in a PvP scenario. So this is only for like survival or something, which if you're playing against AI, then okay, that's fine. You want to give yourself a little bit of a boost, that's great. It's the only real problem with getting in there and having an item that's too OP or even slightly OP in a PvP scenario is the fact that it's not fair that you can acquire this item with real money, but somebody else cannot. So I feel like overall, these guys definitely have their head in the right spot as far as how to balance the cash up, because they're not allowing you to take OP things into PvP scenarios. That's great. That's awesome. That's exactly what I think people want. They don't want to have an ultimate turret on the other player's team, and guess what? Well, we're never gonna get past that thing because he has $10 to spend that I don't have. So good to know that that's there. Outside of that, it's like they have boosts for like 14 days, 7 days, 1 day, whatever. They have the standard XP and kudos boost you could purchase so you could gain level and currency faster. But as far as what's available right now, there really is nothing here that really stood out to me again as being something considerably OP. Now, real quick, what you've been watching here, I've not been showing you the cash shop because cash shop looks boring. We've already done enough interface crap today. What you're watching here is me in spectator mode watching what I think is probably the fastest just stomping I've seen in a match so far. Like today, I have not seen somebody get stomped this fast. And I'm sorry that some people are getting called out here with their names and everything. But one thing I want to point out too, since we're here, is that Zyamel 30 or whatever his name is, he DC'd. And what happens is whenever a character DCs, a person DCs, a bot will take their place. This has been every instance that has happened to me so far. It hasn't happened often, but when it does happen, the character reanimates, comes back to life, and starts performing basic functions. So in this particular instance, you see that there's two characters named Natasha. I believe both of those are already bots. So they came in here with two AIs as their support teammates, and then of course the one guy was getting stomped so bad he decided to DC. He's replaced by a bot. Now it's one real person fighting two AIs with an AI support, and I'm spectating. And so, but you notice the game is still going, and that's something that I think is it's a very, very cool feature. We all have been there with, even me, my limited time in League of Legends, even I've been there where people are just like, F this, I'm out. And they bail on the team, and guess what? That sucks, right? We have a lever, and now you're handicapped the entire time. But ultimately, what we have here is a game that is extremely solid. There's lots of diversity. It's free to play. There's so much going for it that again, it's shocking as to why it's not been picked up just yet. And it could be the fact that, you know, maybe I got in there kind of early. I know that Husky picked it up and he got it out there to the fans and whatnot. But you know what? There's probably a lot of you guys out there who are watching the BFF Report who don't even know who Husky is. So there's lots of gamers out there, and there's got to be a reason why it's not spread just yet. And I can't see it. This game is solid. Go sign up for the game and put AK Mike B in that little referral thing, and we'll be friends. All right, see ya. I feel like I'm abusing my reach here, but it's okay. See ya.